I was informed today by my wife that I was supposed to be taking YouTube videos like this. So here we go. We just caught a salamander, a white spotted salamander. We also got some turkey tail in here. And I'll be posting the video of me getting the turkey tail and the salamander in a little bit, but he's in there. We'll have to fish him out. He'll be a nice little addition to the ecosystem. He eats flies and insects and slugs and beetles, and he'll eat all kinds of different things. But these plants are looking good, a little overwatered, and I think I did that. So we're just going to leave them alone for a little bit. But other than that, we're going to be adding some sand, silt, and clay to the creek system today. Let's see, check the temp. 66% humidity, 81 degrees. That's pretty close. I don't mind the 70% at 80 degrees, 10%, like a 10-point difference there. Got the OK calyx going up there. We got the Jolly Pond going over here. We got Blue Ridge genetics going over here. And we got Marco's growing his Divine Pine over here. Gotta learn to keep my hand out of the way. But for those who are new, you can see that the whole system sits in a box. And that box is full of sand, silt, and clay with pea gravel at the bottom. So at the bottom of this, I've got a hole here where if it does flood, we can pump that water out back into the fish pond. It hasn't leaked. I mean, it was leaking. I built it to leak. If you go on my Instagram, you can see that we had to seal it up. And what was happening was I had too much sand, silt, and clay in the creek itself. And the water was, I didn't realize how much that sand, silt, and clay was going to suck moisture up. And it just sucked it right up over the creek wall. It was just way too moist, way too much water. Water was hitting here, running right straight down the side of the wall. There was no roots here, nothing to catch it. So, and it was filling up the bed, and I was having to suck it out. I didn't want that. It was too much. So what I did was remove the sand, silt, and clay, lowered the creek system, and now we're going back around and we're going to just basically reattach that sand, silt, and clay to the moss here. And that sand, silt, and clay is up underneath this moss. So I laid it on top of the rock, and then the moss went on top of the sand, silt, and clay, and then we connect that to the creek. That sand, silt, and clay then wicks up the creek water, which keeps the moss moist, and it was sucking it all the way across the top of the bed. I mean, it was a lot of water. It was moving a lot, too much. So we decided to do it in just certain points. So you can see how I removed it from over here, and we're going to just add and connect it over here in this corner instead of all the way around. And then we're going to also connect it up there. You can see the rocks have fallen down. We're going to add some more sand, silt, and clay over there to connect that. That will draw that water up into the bed. There's a layer of sand, silt, and clay underneath the mulch layer, so that moisture can be wicked all the way across, all the way up and across the top of that spot for the plants. That's my natural way of wicking water across the top of where the feeder roots are of the plants, and allowing those plants to connect to the creek system. And hopefully draw, this is all new of course, so hopefully it'll draw some water once we get some fish in there, we get all kinds of life. We've already got that string algae going, but once we get the life going, like the fish, and we got some shrimp, we got some cherry shrimp coming for the algae. We've got a bunch of different shrimp, and we've got clams and all different types of things we can put in the pond and the creek. We got the salamander that we caught today, which was cool, and it was so warm outside. That's why I found him. I flipped over a log and he was just roaming around. It's 65 degrees out here today, so it's a perfect day to bring him in and acclimate him to the room a little bit. He's in this bucket here, so we'll fish him out of there, and hopefully he'll find a spot. I bet he goes for that. I'm gonna put him over there in the center, up underneath that log there. Hopefully he'll find a nice little home. Give you a little tour here. There you go. Quick little tour of the new setup. Coming along nicely. This is just day 13. Me turning it on and running it consistently without any stops. So we started this project in March of this year, and we finished it about 10, 12 days ago. Well, you can say finished. It'll never be finished in my eyes, but it's running and growing. We're going to be running these plants and flipping the flower and doing everything for the cannabis plant. This is a cannabis garden, and I was hoping to get dual, not just dual root zones, but this whole thing sets, in a horizontal system setup. So we've got pea gravel, sand, silt, and clay mix, and we've got clay, and we've got more pea gravel and sand, silt, and clay, and then a lot of clay in certain areas in the creek. But then outside we left pockets where the holes are, and then that basically that clay layer and that sand, silt, and clay layer, from there down is my E-horizon, I believe, and then we go up into the A horizon and then into the O horizon. Or is it the other way around? I get it confused sometimes, but either way, it's rock, it's big rock, small rock, sand, silt, and clay. Then the sand, silt, and clay basically keep the soil from getting down into your reservoir. So that sand layer keeps all that organic matter from getting down into your pea. So once you get that soil layer in there, then it's all about starting that O horizon, which is your organic horizon, which is basically your 4-inch mulch layer. All I've done, which is different with this, is in that O horizon, I have stretched that stretched that sand, silt, and clay that's in the creek up over the wall and in all the way up about an inch to a half an inch across the top of the soil, and then I laid the mulch on top of that, then plant directly into that sand, silt, and clay, and the plants just love it. You can see those, it was done there and it was done here, and it was not done over here, and there's a huge difference in plant growth that you can see. I also did it over here. Huge difference in plant growth with that layer, that extra layer of in between the soil layer and the mulch layer. That's what that 1 inch of that sand, silt, and clay from the reservoir. Basically the same stuff that's in the creek, same stuff that's in the bottom of the fish pond. I stretched it across, and that wicks water up out of the creek, pulls it up over the creek wall, allows to keeps that moss moist, and then the roots from the cannabis grow to that moss layer and hopefully just start sucking nutrients and all different types of things. Secondary metabolites is what we're looking for. So we'll be adding some sand, silt, and clay. This is we've already cleaned it. We've added some pea gravel to it. And what I mean by cleaning is what I just bring it up, just a couple shovelfuls, and then put it in the wheelbarrow and take a water hose to it and wash out all the heavy organic matter out of it. That's what makes it smell like swamp. So I want to get all that swamp smell out of it. Then I can bring it back in here and pack it along the creek wall to allow that moisture in this moss to suck it up without me having to go around and water it all the time. And that's it.